What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode in my Football Manager save. This is episode number 36. Instead, returning with two big games against Manchester United away and our first ever Europa League game away against Ludogorets in the league phase as well. Before we get to the games though, shout out for getting on off camera, and also some interesting signings and sales on deadline day as well. Let's get to that first. And of course, on the back of the last episode, where I broke the club record transfer fee twice and spent over £150 million in the summer window, safe to say I've dropped the Scrooge tag now, because I spent some more money as well on deadline day. We'll start the departures first, where as you can see, Danilo Pereira has gone to Sporting Lisbon. I love that transfer. I mean, for those that don't know, Pereira actually had a very brief beginning at Benfica before leaving. Then he came back to Portugal and played for Porto. And now he's gone to Sporting for 6.75 mil that could raise a 7.5 million. I love that. This guy is just collecting like Portuguese top rival club, like Infinity Stones, man. It's unbelievable. So yeah, Danilo Pereira's gone back to Portugal and now gone to Sporting. And as you can see as well, Stoic did get loaned out as well. Stoic. I like Stoic. Because I hear a lot about Stoics these days, Marcus Aurelius. Stoic has gone to Sassuolo on a loan deal for £2 million, plus they're paying his full wages as well. He actually scored on his debut there in this area as well for Sassuolo. So, yeah, I was tempted to keep him for this year and not loan him out, but in the end, with the big signing of Mascara, I realised to be like fourth choice centre-half, and we know this kid developed so well in the Championship last year, so now playing at an even higher level in this area, he should get better, theoretically, though the red arrows are not a good indication of what's to come. So, yeah, loaned out the Serbian kid once again, hopefully develops like he did last year at Leicester. We saw one of our youngsters, Nandez, left as well. He's gone to Real Sociedad for £12 million. So, pretty happy with that. 30 years old, 2 years left on his deal, but sold to Real Sociedad. He gave for £12 million. We picked him up on a free, if you remember, back at the start of Season 2. Back at the start of Season 3 even. And to be fair, I think that's a pretty decent deal to get 12 million out of him there, because he was only really a squad player for us, and mainly most of his games would come off the bench. So yeah, Nandez goes to Sociedad. We'll always be grateful for that winning penalty in the Carabao Cup quarter-final against Newcastle United, but now Nandez gone to Real Sociedad. And the other sale was Mark Travers. Mark Travers gone to Sunderland for £3 million and is off to the Stadium of Light, who of course Sunderland were relegated last year. It was in the final year of his contract. He said he was going to leave on a free transfer in 12 months' time, so I thought, well, in that case, I might as well try and get some money for you, and we did. Travers goes for £3 million, and I mentioned it last season, the only reason I really kept him is because he was homegrown. You know, in the first season it was Nato, in the second year it was Ochoa, the past 2 years it was Georgie, and it's Georgie again this year as our number one. Travers was just not getting any game time, so the only reason he was here because he was homegrown. Now he's gone, I need to find another homegrown player to fill his void. And I've done so, in goal as well. So the free signings on deadline day, as you can see, Jaden Anthony is back for his second straight year on loan. Oh man, Leeds, what a waste of money, man. They bought him for 13.75 million and they haven't played him once competitively. Last year we bought him on loan back, crucially, again due to homegrown rulings, and this year we've done the same. Had spent a little bit more money on the loan fee, and of course we're paying the full wages once again, but it's not too big of a deal. I mean, we spent just over £2 million to bring him back on loan for these past 2 years as a squad player, and when we sold him we got just under 14 million, so I'm not too concerned about that loan fee there. It's still been a really good decision to sell him and just bring him back on loan. But again, Jaden Anthony is homegrown after getting released by the Arsenal youth setup and then coming through Bournemouth. He is homegrown, so that means he can be registered as part of the 4 we need for European squad registration rules. So Anthony back on loan, and also Callum Ward, goalkeeper, in from Ipswich Town for £3.2 million, so just 200k more than we got for Mark Travers. And in the Championship last year, to be fair, he was one of the best goalkeepers in the second tier. 20 clean sheets in 46 games and seven man in the match displays for a goalkeeper in a season. I think that's the highest I've ever seen. So he had a pretty decent year at Portman Road last year. It was good the year before as well. Got off to a decent start this year. 2 clean sheets in 4 and a man in the match display as well. And I bought him for £3.2 million. The reason I signed him, once again, homegrown, trained at the club. And I know I go on about this quite a lot, but like if you're a club with a decent academy, you probably have a lot of options for this. Bournemouth with all due respect, have basically none. There are very few really decent players that are club trained at Bournemouth, which is crucial for the European squad registration rules. You don't need any for the Premier League, but you need 4 per European competition. So it's very hard to find players that are good enough, if you will, if not to be a starter or even a backup, then just a squad player you can register. So your Ward comes in, he's basically about as good as Mark Travers, maybe a slight step down, but really he's on a little bit less per week. He's on a 4-year deal with an optional 1-year extension, so he just fills the homegrown quota, and not really much of a downgrade from Travers as a backup goalkeeper for Georgie. And there you go. Yeah, so like you'll see now, obviously, to lose Travers meant we were losing that homegrown slot. And of course, we didn't have Jaden Anthony either. So we only had 2. We would have only had 2 if Travers went. We didn't replace him, which means that we'd have to leave 2 vacant spots in the registration rules, which means that, we'd have no backup goalkeeper. You need to register at least 2 goalkeepers, so I'd have to choose an under-18 goalkeeper, and also Jaden Anthony as well. He's a decent squad player. So it's, again, I say this all the time, it's really important you have at least 4. If you're doing an RTG, it's not too important at the very beginning. When you get into Europe, you need at least 4 of those players. Otherwise, what it means is, if you don't have 4, where am I here? If you don't have 4, what it means that you'll have to leave. Sorry, 1 second here. You'll have to leave slots vacant. So you need a minimum of 4 players trained by your club for 3 years between the 15th and 21st birthdays. That's why I always say, if you get an 18-year-old in, don't loan him out. Loan him out if you got many players in that position. But if you want to make sure to hit the homegrown rule, you can't loan him out. Stoic, for example, can't now be homegrown because we've loaned him out, even though we signed him at 18. So it's one of those things which, like, again, if you're managing a big club, it might not matter too much to you. But if you're managing a team that doesn't have the best reputation for a strong academy, like Bournemouth, I hate to say it, then you need to make sure you focus on this when you get into Europe. Otherwise, you'll leave spots out, and that can be crucial midway through a season when you start getting injuries and suspensions. Right then, so let's take a look at what's been going on off camera. It's not been great, I'll be honest here. We began with a goalless draw at away at the Emirates against Arsenal, where Georgie had the best goalkeeper display I've ever seen in FM. That was incredible. And we responded with 4 games in the Premier League. It's been a tough run to start the season off. We began with another goalless draw at home to Wolves. I disallowed goal through Max Aarons in this one, but sadly it was yet another game where we failed to score and got ourselves a point. And the following game was a 1-0 loss at home to Spurs. Harry Kane heading in a Destiny Udogie cross, and that was the only goal of the game. And following that, another game we failed to score, another goalless draw away at Anfield, 0-0 against Liverpool. And I heard the chants from the fans, sign an effing striker. Well, in the end, I didn't need one, because in the following game, Josh Sargent made his debut for Bournemouth and he scored twice. Meh. So yeah, we took on West Ham. We won by 4 goals to 1. We were tied at 0-0 at the break. We were booed off at half-time going down the tunnel. Solanke going to Atalanta. No one replacing him. No one able to put the ball back in the net. No goals in our last 4. And then we scored 4 in the second half. We went ham. We scored all 4 of our goals in 9 minutes. First, David Garza heading in a free kick from Traore. And a minute later, Luca Romero latching onto a through ball from Sargent. Then 3 minutes later, Sargent scored his first goal for the club, an absolute howler from Alphonse Areola. But 5 minutes later, the goal is worth showing you twice. His second goal was a beauty. Ball over the top, brings it down out of the sky, and then chips it over Alphonse Areola to bag his brace. And while Souček would grab a consolation goal from the spot, it's all it proved to be. So 4 in the final score, our first win of the season, our first goals of the season, and glad to finally scratch for the first time this year. So as you can see in the Premier League, 5 games in, it has been a tough start. Just a 1 win on the board so far, but really, it's all about perspective. Yes, just 1 win in our first 5 games, but only 1 defeat. And we've only conceded twice. That's the joint best in the division right now, alongside Manchester City. And when you compare that to last season, where we had one of the worst defensive records in the division, it's all about, life is all about perspective. So I'm not too concerned about this when you consider the fact we've already had to play Liverpool and Arsenal, both away from home, and Spurs as well. It's been a tough start, and it could have been a lot worse than this. I think that's the thing. Like you got to remember, like a fixture list sometimes can be your best friend or your worst enemy. We've had a really tough start in terms of the fixture list, and now we've got both Manchester clubs. So it's a really tough start. But after we get out of the woods here, after we get out of the woods at a tough start, well, then we've got newly promoted Stoke, Everton, who only just survived last year, Newcastle, where we tough ones we have, but Brentford, Fulham, Aston Villa, Norwich, Southampton. So all the way through to December. I mean, let's be honest here. All of these games you should target as winnable. We should be able to win the vast majority of those games there. So sometimes you can't read too much into a bad spell of form if the fixture list has been a tough one. Anyway, nothing really else to show you other than this. Where are we here? Nope, Club Vision. I have asked the board if they would improve the youth facilities, and they said yes. So delighted with that. Our youth facilities are now going to improve. So we have these state-of-the-art training facilities now. The youth facilities were average, I think. Now they're good, and then they're going to become great. So really pleased with that, because we know what I said earlier. Our youth setup here at Bournemouth is pretty damn poor. So, heading into the first game of today's episode, after a tough start here, it is indeed Manchester United away at Old Trafford. We just got our first win there in the last game against West Ham, but I can't see us getting anything from this game after what's been a really, really tough start. I'll certainly take a point, and let's see how we get on. Right now on injury report, as you can see, a couple of players are down. Hamid Traore, really big blow, broke his toe on international duty last week. That's a massive blow there, because we know how good this guy is for us. And Radulovic also has a slight little knock that he got in the game against West Ham. Other than that, everyone is fit, and this will be our team. It is 4-3-3 gegenpress, and our lineup is as follows. George is in goal. Back four is Mitchell, Mascara, Zabani, and Aarons, with the midfield trio being Doucouré, McTominay, and Scott playing further forward. Batterina on the left, Romero on the right, and Josh Sargent up top. On the bench, Ward, Metham, Smallcombe, Forsby, McKennie, Blanco, Tavernier, Anthony, and Liam Delap as well. First two games, I'll certainly take a point in what has been a really tough start to the season. Come on, you cherries. I have to say, for Batterina as well, he's still unhappy. He still wants to leave the club. That issue has not been resolved, and I don't know if it will be, He's got 4 years on his deal, plus the optional 1-year extension as well, but he's had a poor start to the season. No goals or assists so far in the first 5. Very tough start for him. And, sometimes when players are unhappy, they do play quite poorly. I'm a little bit worried there as Josh Sargent is through. Oh! Lovely little run, but fires it just over the bar. And Kepa, now at Old Trafford, didn't get anything on that as it ripples the roof of the net. Great run by Sergeant Scott. Josh, this time finishes. Sergeant puts us in front. It's 3-2 for the American. I said I don't expect him to be as good as Solanke because, that's just asking for a bit much. Dominic scored 46 goals in all competitions this year, but if he continues his kind of goal-to-game ratio that he had in the past 3 years, which again is basically 1 in every 3, that's not terrible for where we are at this point in the save. We're not a top 14 that needs a striker to score every single game, but that's not too bad. Goals are going to come from other places as well, with our inside forwards, normally Romero and Traore or Batterina, so that's not terrible. Third goal of the season, great little finish after a good through ball by Alex Scott. And Bournemouth have the lead at Old Trafford. There's a long way to go in this game as Rashford plays it back to Luke Shaw, and the former Southampton left-back crosses, and the header goes just wide. Go on, Josh. I said, what we were looking for to replace Solanke was a sort of player that was similar to him. I knew I wasn't going to find a player just as good, but a similar sort of player. Same sort of physical mould, mentality, decent technicals as well. I wasn't going to find the exact same player. I knew I was going to find the exact same quality player, but someone that's kind of similar. That is Josh Sargent, and I'm pleased to see it. 3-2 for the American, and Bournemouth at the break are leading at Old Trafford. What a result this will be. You might be winning, but that could all still change if performance levels drop. Don't let that happen. Oh, Josh seems anxious. He seems anxious. Don't worry about it, mate. You're playing well. You're playing well. In fact, I'm going to individually shout from the touchline as well and praise him for his performance so far. Really good to see it from Josh. Literally just came back from that broken ankle. And again, this is why I didn't read too much into our poor start season. We didn't score in our first 4 games. We didn't have a striker. Sargent was injured. I had no one up top. I was playing bloody Danny Ings, who's basically retired at this point, and Luca Romero. Oh, Scott, you don't play for Manchester United nowadays, mate. What was that for a pass? Bruno Fernandes down the left, into Rashford. Garnacho converts. Scott McTominay. It's alright, lads. Okay. Body language is still quite good out there, so I'll leave as it is for now. That's a poor pass from our new captain, that. Shame, he's so consistently good for me, really. But 1-1. I would have taken a point pre-game, to be fair. Stats have been quite even, so I'd certainly take it at full time as well. Let's make a couple of changes to burn the clock. Going to bring on Antonio for Alex Scott. And I'm going to bring on Tav on that right for Luca Romero. I've now got another 2 stoppages, so I'll do this now. Oh, highlight here for Bournemouth. Tyrick, down the left, dispossessed by Garnacho, and oh, that was Kepa just about getting away with that. And there might be a late winner here. There might be a late winner. Oh, off the bar. Jaden Anthony on for Batterina, and McKennie for Doucouré. Going to swap those 2 roles around as well as we come towards the stoppage time, but it looks as though we are going to see out a point to bring on Metham for Mascari, who's not played very well, just to see out the game, and we'll take it. Oh, hello, free kick. Tav. Oh, headed away. McTominay picks it up. Don't give it back to Manchester United again, please, Scott. Great ball. Tav in space. Oh, it's gone in. Marcus Tav in the air has won it. Bournemouth win at Old Trafford. Scott McTominay from 0 to hero. What a brilliant ball to Marcus. Gets around Luke Shaw, and I think Kepa probably should have got there, but he didn't. It wasn't the most powerful of strikes, but it creeps in and kisses the bottom corner of the far post, and Bournemouth win it. Tav off the bench wins it. That was really special, lads. Nobody gets just be played, man. Congratulations. And it's our 2nd win in a row and our first away day victory of the season. It comes at Old Trafford. What a win. Wow, did not expect that. Did not expect that. Tough start to the season. But do you remember in the last episode, I said this. I said I'm not going to read too much into it if we have a tough start to the season. Oh, stoic. Oh, what a player this guy could be. Fuck the red arrows. Like, if he really gets on and kicks on, this guy could be an absolute baller. He is so consistently good, man. And I tell you what, he's got all the assets to become a world-class centre-half. I'm really glad I've loaned him out for another season, because sat on the bench here, he wouldn't be able to develop as well. Oh, dear. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, like, you know, the first few games, we're without Josh Sargent. We've lost our captain and top scorer. It's a new group of players, not for the most part, but here and there. Look at all this scouting I'm doing here. I wasn't going to read too much into this. And, oh, he's gone now. He's gone to Salford. This is a League 2 striker that was playing for Cambridge. How much did he go for? Oh, what? They turned down my bids of like 200, 250k. It was barely even more than that, lads. I was going to pick him up and try and make him my new Jamie Vardy. Jude Dangana. Not quick, but even so. So I lost my train of thought. Let's just jump into the following game. Right then, 2nd and final game of today's episode as we travel to Bulgaria to take on Ludogorets. I have to say, the Europa League group phase is a tough one. Like, there's some really, really quality teams in here, man. But I guess, as I often say, this kind of like pays homage to the fact that in modern day football, like the quality worldwide has never been better than it currently is right now. But heading into the game, I probably should have said the games we've got in the league phase. We've got Ludogorets in Belgium, then we've got Victoria Plzen, Slavia Prague away from home, Braga at home, and Astanza and Arminia Bielefeld away in Germany is our final one. Oh, no, sorry, there's another one there. Blimey. All the way till late January. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Of all the things that needed changing to be modernised, this is not one of them, guys. Come on. What was wrong with a bloody 4-team group, 6 games, 2 home and away, 1 home and away? Like, what? I just, no. Anyway, heading into the first one here at the group phase, this will be our team. And I keep forgetting in Europe you've got more subs nowadays, so I'll just pop these lads onto the bench as well. There you go. But I am going to have to, sorry. You know me, man. If you want to read through the lineup yourself whilst I'm doing this, you're more than welcome. But I need to make sure this is spot on. Has to be in order. There we go. Right, heading into the game, 4-3 gegenpress, and a few changes on the back of our win at Old Trafford as we travel to Bulgaria, and this will be our team. Georgie is in goal, and the back four is Smallcombe coming in at left back. By the way, he has had a few green arrows, but he's still got a lot. Oh, what? Now he's got some red arrows. What is this? I've got the best training facilities in the game, basically the best coaching staff in the country. This should not be happening to my young players that are getting game time. Smallcombe at left back, alongside Metham, Garza and Aarons, with Blanco, McKennie and Scott being our midfield trio. Anthony's on the left, Romero's on the right, and Josh Sargent will again lead our line. On the bench, Ward, Zabani, Mitchell, Mascara, McTominay, Zavani, Mascara, Mitchell, McTominay, Forsby, Doyle, Ducore, Tav, Batarina, Delap and Ings as well. Martin Batarina, still yet to get a goal or assist this season. I'm worried. I think he's done. He's seen Kelly and Solanke leave and he's checked out as well. Second and final game, Bulgaria, Ludogorets away. Went all the way to win the Conference League last year. Incredible achievement for our first ever year in European football. But to win the Conference League, I would definitely say that it's not a massive surprise because we were one of the favourites. Even though we got off to a terrible start, didn't win either of our first two games in the league phase. We were one of the best teams in the competition. The Europa League, however, absolutely not. You got the likes of Juve and Roma and so on and so forth. Just getting out of the league phase and, going a couple of knockout rounds deep, I'd take that for our first ever year in the Europa League. Winning it would put us in the Champions League, but I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not even thinking about it. As Romero's taken down, and that should be a penalty, and it is. It will go to VAR, but I think it's given. An eventful start to the game. And now we've got ourselves a penalty from 12 yards. No Solanke anymore, and Josh Sargent is going to take it. He's got a better penalty stat than Dominic, who was always so consistent from 12 yards. And he just about squeezes it home. Fourth of the year for Sargent and fourth in three. Keeper goes the right way there. Got a glove on it but couldn't keep it out. And Josh is 1 for 1 from the spot. Bournemouth in front right for the break and could go 2-0 up as well. Romero's free kick is headed off the woodwork by Garza and Metham turns in a rebound for his first of the year. What a great way to end the first half. Garza doesn't get an assist for that, does he? Off the woodwork and then Metham does well to squeeze it through the gap there to make it 2. I don't think he does. But even so, that'll do it. It is 2-0 Bournemouth. And I just saw Josh Sargent took a knock right towards the end of the first half. Do you know what? I'm going to take him straight off as well. I'm not risking it. He has made the difference since coming back. What is the injury? Oh, his lower leg as well. That could be a nasty one. Let's take him off. Let's bring on Delap. Let's bring on the youngster as a pressing forward and begin the second half. I think we'll be okay from here. Ludogorets haven't had a shot so far. I think we'll be all right. Back the American. I really do. I think, like I said, I know he's not going to be as good as Solanke, but if it could be, almost as good, that'll do me. That'll do me until we become a continental reputation team, possibly break into the top 4, or at least maintain a Europa League place. Well wide. And then we can start signing bigger name players. For example, like Darwin Núñez was available to sign. He was on the transfer list from Liverpool, but he wasn't going to come play for me. Of course he wasn't. He ended up going to Spurs. He wasn't going to come and play for me. So for now, Sargent's like the, he kind of like fills the gap, if you will, between where we are and where we want to be. Sorry, I think I forgot to say as well right at the start, Weston McKennie signed on loan. I think I totally forgot to say that Weston McKennie signed on loan. As George makes a great save, we're not paying his. We are paying his wages, but we're not paying a monthly fee. But I think I missed it. I got so hung up on Jaden Anthony coming back, I forgot about Weston McKennie. But yeah, McKennie is in, and he's basically the Nandez replacement. Can sort of play anywhere really. Hard working, industrious. And there you go, Tav to the lap. Can we get a third goal with 5 minutes to go to wrap up the win on the opening night? Oh, almost Tav off the bar. And Delap puts it behind for a goal kick. Tav down the right to look for a third goal. Delap's header, off the top of the crossbar as he goes in search of his first goal for Bournemouth. But I think that is going to do it. And Bournemouth are going to win this game comfortably. Unless Ludogorets get a late one here to cause us a bit of a problem. But I think we're going to be all right. Liam gets over the halfway line. And storms down left-hand side. Good run by Delap here. And Liam goes into the area. Great run and hits the post as well. God, he just hit the woodwork a second ago and he's done it again. Liam Delap still searching for his first goal. Hit the woodwork 3 times in that game. But you know what? In the end, we win the game by 2-0. Lovely stuff, boys. 3 wins on the trot. And after a tough start to the season, we have finally kick-started our campaign. 2-0 the final score. Pleased with that one there. Georgie's first clean sheet in a few, and we'll have that. And thankfully for Sargent, it's just a tight Achilles, so not a big blow, just a couple of days out of training. Lovely stuff. Right, boys, that will do it for today's episode. So big thank you for tuning in. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Bournemouth finally off the mark. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I will return in the next episode with games against... I quite fancy that Everton and Newcastle doubleheader, you know. Or maybe another league game, maybe. Or maybe Brentford for them. This is the point. There's no there's no traditional top 6 teams for a while now because we had them all in the first run-in. But let's come back with, it'll either be Everton and Newcastle, or maybe Brentford and Fulham, London doubleheader. I'm not too sure. It'll be around here somewhere. I'm not too sure, but it'll something like this, something around here. Have a great day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you in the next episode in the FM Save very soon.